Unbelievable. Iowa. We love Iowa. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So we're going to do things that are so amazing. It's like this all over, no matter what. I just got back. Spencer. Do you know Spencer? We love Spencer. Unbelievable people, same reception. It's incredible what's happening, and it's a movement. And I tell it to everybody, it is a movement. There is something happening. We're taking our country back. We're going to get rid of the stupid people.
We have leaders that don't have a clue. They're grossly incompetent. I refuse to say that they're stupid, but they're stupid. We have people that are leading us in a direction, and it can't go on any longer, folks. It can't. And that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this. We are going to make America great again. Believe me. We are going to make America great again. First of all, this is a record for this building. I hear it's a fairly new building, in all fairness, but we set records at every building, but this is a record. We have a tremendous group of people in here. Now, CNN. Did you ever hear of CNN? Yes. This week we like them because a poll came out yesterday. You saw that. So we're at 36. We have a 20-point lead over second place. And a lot of guys are in 3 and 4 and 2 and 1. And why are they running? You're taking up a lot of time. I guess Bush is at 3. Bush is doing well. He's at 3. He's got a lot of energy. So, you know, almost build a wall. We're going to build a wall. We're going to build a lot of things. We're going to build the wall. We're going to rebuild our infrastructure. By the way, the wall, Mexico will be paying for the wall. Believe me. Believe me. So we'll talk about the wall. We'll talk about security. You know, it's changed a little bit because over the first period of time I talked about trade. I talked about China. I talked about how we're being ripped off by everybody in the world, and we are being ripped. We are being ripped off like nobody has ever. You know, what China has done to us is the greatest theft in the history of the world. It really is. If you look at the jobs, the money, the base, everything, they've taken it. And you know what? I love the Chinese. I love everything's fine. I sell them apartments for a fortune, right? The biggest bank in the world is a Chinese bank. They're my tenant. They pay me rent every single month. I don't have to worry about the rent not coming in, right? But we have the greatest business people in the world. Carl Icahn, who's a friend of mine, is a great success and a great negotiator. He's endorsed me. Many of these folks have endorsed me. Even the business leaders that hate me, in some cases, have endorsed me because they know I'm good at what I do. It's very simple. And honestly, and they want to see our country be great again. They want to see our country come back. You know, they're proud of our country too. And they feel foolish when they see the kind of deals. You look at, as an example, Japan. They're sending us cars, thousands and thousands, and then millions of cars. The biggest ships I've ever seen, going to Los Angeles, going to the harbor. You'll see the biggest ships you've ever seen. The cars pouring off. You know what we send them? Practically nothing. It's a one-way street. We owe Japan $1.5 trillion. It's like a magic show. They take our jobs, they take our money, and we owe them money. You say, how does that work? Now China, we owe the same thing. It's very interesting. We owe them 1.5 trillion, not billion. We owe them 1.5 trillion. Okay, so they take our everything. But we're going to change it around. So with China, almost 400 Think of it. Almost $400 billion a year in trade imbalance. That means $400 billion in trade. We can't go on like this. Japan, $75 billion a year. Mexico, $45 billion a year, and that doesn't include drugs going back and forth. You can probably triple it. You want to know the truth. Did you ever see the wall they have? It was in one of the magazines where the wall's like this, and they built a ramp to go over the wall. A little ramp. Okay, I'm really good at building, I want to tell you. They built it. We're going to have a wall. By the way, that wall, I got to make it good. It's going to be really big. It's going to be really powerful. And you know why, right? Because it's going to be so beautiful, I have to make it artistically beautiful. It's going to be the most beautiful wall, much nicer. The Great Wall of China is think of it, 2,000 years old, right? He knows, he's a student. 2,000 years old. It's 13,000 miles long. Ours, we actually need a little more than 1,000. It's 2,000 miles, but we need a little because we have a lot of natural barriers. So we can't do 1,000, but 2,000 years ago, a much bigger wall. It won't be bigger than mine, by the way. Mine's big. In fact, I'll make sure that mine's at least 1 foot higher than the Great Wall of China. Okay? I do that with buildings. You know, in Chicago, I built a great building, and it was going to be the tallest building, right? Right? Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about it. Yeah, a lot of you people use that building. It's a great building. Right on the river, beautiful, best location. I went in, I built it. In bad times, I got it built, came out, it's wonderful. But, you know, that was going to be the tallest building, and then the World Trade Center hit. And I said, you know what? Maybe it's not such a good thing. Maybe we'll make it. So I made it a little bit shorter. I actually did. First time in my life, I made something shorter. After the World Trade Center, which was done by disgusting people. You know, when they attacked Pearl Harbor, at least they attacked the military, right? The Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. They attacked at least, now it was a sneak attack, it was disgusting, but at least they were attacking military. World Trade Center, they attacked civilians having breakfast. They attacked people in office buildings. They attacked people in a hotel. And I'll tell you what, folks, we're going to be so vigilant, we're going to be so careful, we're going to be so tough and so mean and so nasty we have to be. That shit is not going to happen anymore. Not going to happen anymore. So, you know, I wrote a book in 2000, The America We Deserve, and it was, you know, a good book. But it doesn't do as well as my business. My business books are all bestsellers. I mean, they do great. When I wrote about political in 2000, although the new one, right? What's it called? Cripple America. Cripple. Oh, look at all of the books. So, but I wrote a book, The America We Deserve, and people viewed me more of a businessman. But I've always been very political, and I've always watched, and I wrote about Osama bin Laden in that book. That was 2 years before the World Trade Center, before he knocked the World Trade Center down. But I wrote about him in a book. And a couple of the political people that are back there, but a couple of the political people said, he actually wrote about this guy before he knocked down the World Trade Center. I've been watching, okay? I do watch. And we have to be very, very vigilant. I notice that now, you know, when I talked about the mosques, and look, I have great respect for religion. But some really bad things are happening, okay? And I took a little heat. Well, I always take heat. And then ultimately, they come around and they say, you know, he was right. Think of it. When I announced, right? When I announced, I talked about illegal immigration. Oh, did I get heat. Rush Limbaugh said, he has taken more incoming than any human being I've ever seen. And then he doubled down. I said, no, it's actually much worse than I said. And then you had Kate in San Francisco, and you had Jamil, and you had a woman, a 66-year veteran, 66-year-old veteran, raped recently by an illegal immigrant in California. and raped, sodomized, and killed. And you know what, folks? It turned out to be a much bigger problem than I was even talking about. And it really, I mean, I don't know what took us to this level where we are right now. And we're all in it together. But it's been an amazing thing. But one of the things was illegal immigration. And if I didn't bring that up, I don't even think you'd be talking about it. I really don't. I don't think you'd be talking about illegal immigration. And now I watch these characters that I'm running against. Some are nice, some I like. But they're never going to be able to do what Trump does. I will tell you. They're never going to. They're never going to do it. They're never going to do it. So what happens, and I tell this story all the time, it takes guts to run for president. It really does. Especially, I've heard all my life, if you're a very successful person, you can't run for political office, but especially you can't run for president. I fully understand it. And one of the things I found is the people, and by the way, the polls have found, the people that are behind me are the most loyal people there are in politics. It's amazing. But the people that are backing me, and they've done studies, I guess we have, by far the highest. In all fairness, I like Ben Carson, he's a nice guy, but do you see the way they've deserted him? By the way, as long as they're deserting him, come on over to ours, right? No, but they deserted him. Then they desert these other guys. This guy Kasich from Ohio, I'm beating him in the polls in Ohio. He goes out and does, he does an ad. So wrong. It was such an incorrect ad. But he does an ad, and it's terrible. He'll take a little phrase here, a little phrase there. And I said, well, I wonder why they're doing that. Because he's tanked everybody that's attacked me. And he just tanked, by the way. Everybody that's attacked me has tanked. Wouldn't it be great if I were the head of the country and people want to do harm to us and they keep tanking because that's what's going to happen? Oh, that's what's going to happen. Think of it. Governor Perry of Texas, nice guy. I mean, I'm talking to him, nice guy. I don't know him much, but he's nice. And he couldn't be nicer. And all of a sudden, he starts attacking me. He announces he's doing a news conference. He does a speech for him. He goes from 6 to nothing and leaves the rest. Now, I did say bad things. I talked about his IQ. Remember I said he has to pass an IQ test to go on the stage? He said, and I talked about his glasses, he wears glasses. That man's wearing glasses, but I can see you're smart. He wears glasses because he wants to show everybody that he's intelligent, and it just didn't work. But he was so vicious. And, you look at it, so he goes out. Lindsey Graham, what about this Lindsey Graham? No, think of it. The attacks are unbelievable. Unbelievable. So he attacked me, we attack him. I have to say, your governor, your next door governor, nice guy, Walker, he was going to win, right? He was going to win. And then one of his people, a fundraiser, said some bad things about me. So I said, thank you. Remember, I apologized and then I thanked him. And then I said that he's got a lot of problems. He's got a $2.2 billion deficit. Nobody knew these things. And he went from 22 and was going to win down being, I'm going to be leaving the race, right? Remember? And then, so many of them. Every single, so far, that's why, do you ever notice they're all saying, no, we don't want to attack Mr. Trump. Even the fundraisers. I hate to say it, but Marco, you know Marco? So he's got a guy, he's got a rich fundraiser, not as rich as me, by the way, that's good. He's got a billionaire, some billionaire, who's got some very bad views on things. And he's got, right? Now he's saying he's tough on immigration, but this guy's not tough. Believe me, Marco will be controlled by this guy like you never see, just like a little puppet. He's going to be controlled, just like a little puppet. So, Bush attacked me. And then I said he's a low-energy individual. We don't need low-energy people. We need high-energy people. We need smart people. We need smart people. We need smart, tough people. And it's like this all over. It's like this all over. Dallas, Texas. In 3 days, we fill up the Mavericks Arena. We actually filled it up in 1 day. Mark Cuban called. He said, "Do you want to use the arena?" I said, "Yeah." It was Thursday. I said, when can we use it? Monday. I said, how many seats do you have in there? 20,000. We filled it up immediately. Long before Monday. Then they said in Mobile, Alabama, it was unbelievable. So I took a hotel, 500 seats. The hotel called, begged for us to leave because it was crazy. So we then took the convention center, 10,000. They called and they said, it's too many people, we can't do it. So we ended up taking a football stadium with 35,000 people. It was a love fest. So, in Oklahoma, we had 20,000 people. It was incredible. But all over. We go to New Hampshire, all over. It's every single venue is packed. I mean, the only thing that stops the size of the crowd is the size of the venue. But New Hampshire's been unbelievable. You know, look at this, Iowa. Up in Spencer, they broke their record. Their all-time record. It's been there, how long? A long time, that arena, right? It broke their record. And the one that had the record was the guy that played a guitar. You know, Elton John said, you get the most people of anybody in the world that doesn't play an instrument. It's true. It's true. Far more than Bernie Sanders ever got, but he's going down the tubes right now. No, Bernie's going down the tubes. Because Bernie wanted a nice soundbite. And the soundbite was, oh no, the emails, right? He gave up the email. And he got, like about 4 seconds worth of applause. Wasn't that nice? That was the end of his campaign. Because because what Hillary Clinton did is illegal. Okay? It's illegal. What she did is illegal. And she'll probably be let off because the Democrats are protecting her. But you know what? We're going to go after her. What she did is illegal. General Petraeus, a respected guy, a nice guy, for doing 5% of what she did, 5% of what she did is destroyed. His life is destroyed. Many people have gone to jail for doing a tiny fraction of what she did. So we're going to see where it all goes. But I want to tell you something. She's being protected, and it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace to our country. It's a disgrace to our country. Remember that. All right. So one of the things that I was very proud of, and actually one of the great commentators is here right now. I won't mention his name because he doesn't always treat me well, but now he's really being nice. Because now he thinks we're really pretty much a lot. But we're not a lot. The fact is you have to go and vote. You got to go into that caucus. That caucus situation is so complex and so wild. But we love it. And one other thing, they were talking about moving Iowa back and putting it in the middle of the pack. Let me just tell you something. Ready? I win. Iowa will never be touched. You are sacred. You are sacred. Iowa, and I'm not a politician that talks and they talk and they don't mean it. If I win, Iowa's staying right where you're going to be first. You're going to be right where you are. New Hampshire's staying right where New Hampshire is. And South Carolina is staying right where they are. You're staying where you are, folks. So you're not going to be moved to the middle of the pack. Some of the people that I'm running against want to do that. And it's not going to happen. We are going to keep you where you are. And first of all, there's a great tradition. I've also developed a lot of friends, and I love this place. Where is there more beautiful land? Okay? And by the way, I think you'll like this because they're headquarters. I am a huge purchaser of John Deere equipment. Is that nice? I think over $10 million. There's a lot of money. That's a lot of tractors. Over $10 million. And they like me a lot. So it's one of those things. But remember this. So just before we get off, the economy, Trump, 55%. Now think of what that means. So I win the regular 36%, second to 16, then you go down to 14, then you go down to 4 and 3. Okay. So that's a big thing. But on the economy, they do polls. It's funny. All the politicians go out and they hire pollsters. They spend millions on pollsters. These pollsters tell them what to say, what to look like, what to do, where to go to the bathroom. They can't move. That's true. They can't move without their pollsters. And the pollsters are smart. Some of them are here saying, oh, this guy's brutal. But they can't move. The pollsters are tough people. They get hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars for doing this work, right? And they tell the candidate is afraid to make a decision, right? With me, my pollster is me. If it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, you're going to know. It's really right. It's right. And I could afford thousands of pollsters. I don't care about pollsters. You know what I always say about pollsters? If they were so good, why aren't they running? Why aren't they? Do you remember when Bush was asked about was the Iraq War good or bad not so long ago? Was it good or bad? And he said, it was good. No, it was bad. It took him 6 days before he got out the right answer. And the same with the other candidates, frankly. So it sort of amazes me because we're going over the polls, and I don't think I've ever said this to a group, but they talk about pollsters, and every 4 days, these guys spend millions of dollars on polls. I've learned more about myself by reading these polls. It's true. ABC, Washington Post. CBS, New York Times. NBC, Wall Street Journal. And then there's about 70 in between there. They have so many polls. And you learn about yourself. We like Mr. Trump's hair. We don't like the way he dresses. Actually, usually they don't like my hair, but they do like the way. But you learn so much. And after the first week, because again, I've only been doing this for about 5 months, right? Who knew this was going to happen? Who the hell knew this was going to happen? But I said to myself, and I actually asked my people, why do they hire pollsters when every week is massive? And you're going to see these polls. They do things, they get it for free. Why are they paying for it, right? So one of the things that came in the CNN poll, that on the economy, Trump is 55. Everyone else is like not. I mean, when you have 55%, you have 55% with 15 people. Who ever heard of anything like that? I think it's actually probably, honestly, never happened. But we have 55% on the economy. Slightly important topic, right? The other guys are down at 6, 5, 8, 9. On illegal immigration, I'm the king. 48% illegal immigration, 48% Trump. And the other guys are in the, 6s and 3s, 2s, 1s, 0s. Pretty bad. On the budget, thing called the budget of our nation, I'm at 51%. The other guys are nothing. On foreign policy, I totally dominate, and which is a little strange, because they said, well, but I know a lot about foreign policy. I'm the one that said attack the oil 3 years ago. Have I been saying it for 3 years? Attack the frickin' oil. Right? I'm saying, attack the oil, you dumb people. First I said, you got to attack it, but I actually said something else. I said, attack the oil, take it, and keep it. Yeah. And I said, take the money, which is massive, and which is funding ISIS. Okay, they're making $1 million a day that we know of. That means they're making more. Take the money and give some of it to the families of the soldiers that were killed in Iraq and Afghanistan and Syria. Give some of the money to the vets that were over there. And to the greatest people, the wounded warriors. I've gotten to know so many wounded warriors. These people, they have been so devastated, and they have a bigger smile on their face than I ever have. I mean, these are the most incredible people. And give them some of that money, because they deserve it, okay? They deserve it. We sent 2,300 Humvees over. You know that, right? I tell about it all the time. These are the finest in the world. Steel-plated, steel bottoms, steel sides, impenetrable. If you hit a mine, you get a little bump, but you're okay. Our soldiers didn't have that. We gave them to our allies. Allies. Now here's what happens with our allies. Boom, a bullet gets shot. They all run out of their Humvees. The enemy comes, takes them, and that's it. 2,300. If our people had them, they wouldn't be wounded warriors today, okay? Our guys were riding around in the Humvees without any armor plate, and they don't have legs, and they don't have arms, and they're, just tough deal. But I've gotten to know them, and they're amazing people. And I say, and I've been saying for 3 years, attack the oil, take the oil. To the victor belong the spoils. To the victor belong the spoils. I say take the oil, and we'll have plenty left over for us too. But It's just so disgusting what's happening. And actually, one of the reasons, and I find this hard to believe, but one of the reasons the wall wasn't built years ago, environmental impact statement. Can you believe it? No, can you believe it? One of the reasons, now this one I find hard to believe, but you've all read it and heard it. One of the reasons I hear that they didn't want to attack the oil is because it will affect the environment. Can you believe this? No. Can you? These people are just... Give me a good word. What's a word? She says, idiot. Isn't it sad? The best word is stupid. Right? The best word. I tell you, I always used to use incompetent. It's not strong enough. It's not strong enough. So anyway, look. So a lot of things will change, and we're doing something that, they're saying it's never been done before. What's happening here has never been done before. Because everywhere we go, it's the same thing. It's packed houses, but more importantly, it's love. There's love. They're the same. The people in Mobile, the people in Dallas, the people all over. We went to Sarasota, Florida the other day, 12,000 people, set it all time. We're setting records at every place we go to. Remember, right? Without guitars. So Sarasota, we had 12,000 people. The convention center held 6. So we had 6 in, 6 out. I had to make 2 speeches, 1 in, 1 out. You think this is easy, don't you? This is not. But the spirit is so incredible. And a friend of mine who's a very, very successful guy, he said, where are you going today? I said, I'm going to wherever. How many people are you speaking in front of? 15,000 people. We had the other night, you saw that. It was incredible. What we had the other night was incredible. But I said 15,000 people. He said, how do you do it? Because he's a rich guy, and he's very successful, very smart. He said, how do you speak before all those people? And you don't even have notes, you don't even have a speech to read. You don't have teleprompters like our president. Remember when I said that if you're running for president, they shouldn't allow you to use teleprompters? It's true. It's true. Because, look, I told him, I said, it's the easiest thing in the world to do. Because there is so much love in these rooms that I go to. It's incredible. It's, we used to use a term, the silent majority. And for some reason, people didn't think that was politically correct. Nobody's really been able to explain that. But it's not a great term anyway. Because it's not a silent majority. It's a noisy majority. You got to see these places go crazy. Oh, it's true. It's true. And believe me, and believe me, people know, and the other side sees what's going on. Part of the poll, of the Fox poll that just came out, is that Hillary Clinton easily gets beaten by a guy named Trump. Easily. And let me just tell you something. Hillary Clinton will be easy. I think she's going to run because I think they're going to give her a free pass. There is a statute of limitations, by the way. You'll figure that one out later. But you know what I mean, right? Statute of limitations. But Hillary Clinton, she doesn't have the strength and she doesn't have the stamina to be president. Tell her. I know her. You ever notice? She goes out, and she makes an appearance. They negotiate with these characters back here, who are among the most dishonest people in the world, by the way. They're among the most, I'm talking about the media. They are among the most dishonest human beings I've ever dealt with in my life. But did you ever notice that Hillary Clinton, she'll go and they'll negotiate with the press for, I hear it's brutal. I don't negotiate with the press. Whatever they ask me, I do whatever. But she'll negotiate with the press. They then will ask her a few questions. She'll come to Iowa. She'll do a couple of minutes in Iowa, meaning a short period of time. And then she goes home. You don't see her for 5-6 days. She goes home. She goes to sleep. I'm telling you. She doesn't have the strength. She doesn't have the stamina. When your ambassador from Benghazi was wiring her and wiring her and wiring 500 or 600 emails, she wouldn't respond to it. She wouldn't respond to it. Think of it. She's wiring and wiring. Nobody responds. It's a damn disgrace. And yet she's talking to her friends like, no problem. No problem. She doesn't have the strength. She doesn't have the stamina to deal with China, to deal with ISIS, the generals, knock the hell out of ISIS, to deal. She doesn't have the strength. She doesn't have the stamina. And that is for sure. She's been corrupt for years and years. It's always corruption. It's always corruption. And you know what? And I don't know what's going to happen because, look, there's a structural advantage that the Democrats have. You do know that. Unless you get out and really vote, come November, you're not going to win. Romney let us down. Romney got the nomination. I almost went. I should have, I sort of should have gotten, but I like this one better. Because honestly, it's gotten so bad, and it's so grossly incompetent, I think I like it better. You want to know the truth. But I was really thinking about doing it. But I was in the midst of a lot of jobs that are now completed. We're doing a great one, Old Post Office on Pennsylvania Avenue. Under budget, ahead of schedule. That's the way our country should be run. That's the way our country should be run. I mean, that's what we should be doing. But, so Hillary, you ever notice so? You don't see her for 4 or 5 days. Then 4 or 5 days later, she awakens, puts on her pantsuit, goes out, and does a press conference. She throws on the old pantsuit and that's it. But you know what? Let me tell you. Foreign policy, Trump wins. So you saw the problem in Paris was disgusting. And by the way, speaking of that problem, if some of those people had guns in their pocket, if they had guns wrapped around their ankle, if they had guns someplace on them, and if they knew how to use them even a little bit, you would have had a whole different story in Paris. Okay. And about what happened to us just now with the 2 sleazebags that did what they did, where they killed 14 people and probably end up being more than that by the time it's over with because people are in very, very serious shape. But if there were a couple of people in that room that had guns, if this guy here or this guy here or that guy or that woman, if you had guns, would have been a different story, right? Nobody had guns. If a little while back, how about we had 2 great, really talented soldiers, phenomenal marksmen, and they had a gun-free zone on a military base. And this guy walks in, and our soldiers are told to stand down, no guns, and they get killed. He killed 6 of them. And then we had the school recently, where gun-free, by the way, you know what a gun-free zone is? That's like meat to these animals. That's like meat. Gun-free, they love gun-free. So, I'm somebody with a lot of common sense. And I'll be honest, I don't need to be doing this. I don't need to vote. If I thought I was wrong with this, I'd go the other way. I wouldn't care. And if you didn't vote for me, it'd be fine. If you don't have the right to protect yourself, you have a whole different deal. You have a whole different country. You have a whole different country. And I say it to people. And I say it to all these guys that want to get rid of the Second Amendment. They want to do all sorts of numbers. They want to give you 1 clip. They say, no, we want 1 clip. So, did you see the one thing where you're allowed 2 bullets in a clip? Okay? Think of it. They don't make them like that, but you're allowed 2. I say, do you think the bad guys are going to say, oh, wow, the law allows 2 bullets? It is so preposterous. But, it's funny. Over the last, I felt this way. I'm a member of the NRA. My sons, actually, my sons are members for years. Don and Eric, and they're great marksmen, actually. They love it. They are really fantastic shots. I'm not so good, but they're really good. But, every time I see one of these tragedies, I say to the people that are, for get rid of the guns, didn't you think it would be good if instead of in Paris, where they had hundreds of people in these different places, if a few of them had guns, don't you think it would be better? They can't answer me. There's no way they can debate it. There's no way they can win it. I mean, the New York Times today has an editorial on the front page. I think they said it's the first time in many, many, many decades that they've done it. Totally anti-gun. But I say to the people, wouldn't it have been great if three people in Paris had guns? And they say, they want to get onto a different subject. They said to these animals went in, over here, boom, over here, boom, over here, boom. And they killed 140, lots more dying right now in hospitals. And this is what we have. Now the other thing I'm saying is, Second Amendment, so important. Common Core, out the window. Out. Common Core is out the window. Common Core is, can you imagine, who knows more about Washington? I've been in politics all my life. People say, I have been in politics all over the world, because when you build, in all fairness, I get along with Democrats, I get along with everybody. Wouldn't it be nice if we could actually have consensus instead of this guy signing executive orders all the time? And his executive orders, at least most of them, on his executive orders, the great thing about an executive order is the new president going in with just a signature terminates them. We don't have to terminate. And the one we're going to terminate within about 1 minute, okay? I'm going to probably take my gloves off or whatever the hell I'm wearing. But the one on the border that allows people to pour through. Now, we've had some pretty good court cases, actually. Very nice. But who needs the courts? It's going to be terminated immediately. So we are going to have people come in, but they're going to come in legally, okay? So that gets terminated. So what's happened is, since Paris in particular, a lot of people thought, the pundits, and who are not smart people, by the way, guys like George Will, if you took away his little round glasses, he'd look like an idiot, okay? But they think he's smart because he wears little glasses. Karl Rove, here's a guy who spent hundreds of millions of dollars. He's the worst. He spends he still thinks Romney won. He goes around saying, I thought Romney won. Didn't Romney? Karl Rove, we have so many people that are so negative for the party, such negative people. Karl Rove spent hundreds of millions of dollars on different races and didn't win anything in that last presidential cycle. Won like nothing. And he actually made a commercial that was so good. I thought it was so good. But I thought it was, for the other guy. It was really a commercial. It was incredible, but it was for the wrong guy. Okay, so, that was another race that he lost. We need better people. We need smarter people. We need unity in the Republican Party. What people don't know about me, I'm a unifier. What I always thought about Obama, look, obviously he's been a horrible president. He'll go down as one of the worst presidents in history. But, he'll be truly one of the worst presidents in history. And this Iran deal will seal it. Because that is one of the worst transactions of any kind I've ever seen. They get $150 billion. On top of everything, they take over Iraq. They got plenty of money to do it. And they don't need nuclear anymore. They can buy it. They got $150 billion. How about where they self-police? So they'll call up, we think you're doing something over there. Well, we'll go check. Mr. President, I really promise we're not doing this. And then they have the 24 days for, frankly, less important sites. And the 24 days doesn't kick in until after a process. And then we don't even get up for $150 billion and a loss on every single point. We don't even get our prisoners back. And I will tell you, our prisoners, if I get elected, will be back that before I ever take that office. I promise you that. I promise you that. I promise you that. They have taken such advantage of us, and they're great negotiators. You know, the Persians have always been great negotiators. They have taken such advantage of these amateurs like John Kerry, who doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And we will do things that will be in a very different fashion over the coming years. So, what I've been talking about has been trade, it's been Caterpillar, it's been Japan, it's been China ripping us, it's been Mexico ripping us and at the border. It's been everything, but it's been very economic. And then when the Paris attack hit, which was a tragedy, everybody said, oh, Trump is going down now. He's going to go down. The poll comes out, bomb, I'm up. Then the CNN poll comes out, I'm up even more. Because people want strength. They want somebody that knows. I like those people. You know, by the way, if you want to be famous, they have the best scene. But you have the best scene. But if you want to be famous, they have the best scene. You're going to all be very famous. You'll watch yourself on television. I'm the only guy who makes a speech. You have all these crazy cameras coming. But I love you too, darling. So how many times has it been? You know, the loyalty has been so incredible. But they'll say, oh, Trump just made a statement. Oh, that's the end. First, I wasn't going to run. Then I was just doing it for fun. All this, believe me, this isn't such fun. I like it. I can think of other things I might rather be doing, right? Not too many, though. I want that. Look, I'm doing this to win. I got a call from one of the great writers of the world recently. And he said, Mr. Trump, I have a lot of respect for him. He's on the other side of the equation, but I have a lot of respect for him. Liberal guy. Brilliant guy, liberal guy. Right, he said to me, how does it feel? I said, how does what feel? What you've done has never been done before. It was the summer of Trump, now it's the autumn of Trump. How does it feel? I said, it doesn't feel anything. He said, what do you mean? I haven't won. I said, if I don't win, this is a total and complete waste of time. He said, no, you're wrong. He said, what you've done is incredible. You've shown that you can speak directly. You've shown that you don't have to be so totally politically correct. You've said, he said, you've shown a lot of things, but he said, what you've done, never been done before. I said, I disagree. If I don't win, I have wasted, totally wasted my time. Okay? And that's the way I feel. Because if I don't win, what am I going to do? Sit home, watch some incompetent person setting the budget, dealing with ISIS, they don't know how to deal. I mean, honestly, seriously. And I know the guys are money. And by the way, some of them are fine. Okay? But they can't do what we're going to do, folks. They can't. They don't have the skill. They don't have the talent. They wouldn't have the people. They don't have the imagination. We've got to do some great things. We owe $19 trillion. It's going to be $21 trillion. The budget we signed recently is a catastrophe. You ever see a budget? The largest budget in the history of the United States. I mean, they agreed to this thing like in 24 hours. What's supposed to happen is every year, it's the same thing. They have a rush to the budget. Everyone says you're going to close up government. Don't they understand that Obama would never close the government? Because nobody cares who the speaker is. Nobody cares who anybody is. The only one that's going to be hurt by closing up for a little while is the president. When they write about it in 50 years, it's another arrow for Obama where he was a terrible president, okay? They're not talking about the speaker. They're not talking about... But we had Speaker Boehner. You know, I've always liked him personally, but I disagree with what he does. He came out a couple of weeks before he left. He said, we will never close the government. Well, once he said that, it's over. Now, I don't want to close government. You know, hopefully I would never have to close the government. I don't like it. But you don't say that because you lose all your points. Once you do that, it's like Obama. They talk too much, all of these guys. We're sending 50 of our finest over to Iraq, probably Syria, but we're sending 50. So he gets up as a news conference to announce 50 people, our finest soldiers, are going. They got a target on their back. Why does he have to say it? When we should have never been in Iraq, I said, I'm the only one out of all of these folks, including Hillary, who was all, she voted yes. And I'm more militaristic than anybody in this room, except for that guy right there. That guy he looks like he's a seriously militaristic. I am more military, believe me. And I said it. We're going to make our military so strong, so powerful, so incredible. Nobody's going to mess with it. Nobody. Nobody's going to mess. But you have to know when to use it. And I said, if you do that, if you attack Iraq and Iran were the same militarily. Same exact strength. They fought forever. That's all they do is fight. Over there, they just fight. They don't know what the hell they're even fighting about. They fight. I want to come back, I want to rebuild our country. All they want to do is fight. And I said, if it turned out that, they had no weapons of mass destruction and all that, which makes it even worse. But look, they go in, they fight, boom, boom, they rest a couple of years, they fight. I said, if you take out one or the other, in this case, if you take out Iraq, and we obliterated the place, I said the other one is going to take over the whole Middle East and take over Iraq, where Iraq has the second largest oil reserves in the world. Okay, a lot of people don't know that. In Afghanistan, very interesting, we're fighting over here, a lot of people don't know, Afghanistan is very rich in minerals. So Afghanistan, we're fighting over here on this side of the mountains, very rough territory. And China is over here with their shovels and their excavators taking out all the minerals. So we're fighting and they're taking out the minerals. China is taking much of the oil that we're talking about in Iraq. China is by far the biggest customer. We don't know what we're doing, okay? We don't know what we're doing. And we've got to stop it. We've got to stop it, and we've got to stop it fast. And it's so easy. It's common sense. It's so easy. We have a case where we have Assad. Assad's not a good guy, okay, on the record press. Bad guy. But we're fighting Assad. Everyone wants Assad out. Look what happens with Gaddafi and Libya. It turned out to be a disaster. Look what happens with Iraq and Saddam Hussein. Look what happens. It turns out to be 10 times worse than it ever was. I'm not a fan of Saddam Hussein, that I can tell you. But Saddam Hussein used to take great pleasure in killing terrorists. Now it's the Harvard University of terrorism. You go to Iraq if you want to be a terrorist. You want to be a terrorist? Iraq, great place. Go to Syria. But Saddam Hussein used to kill everybody that was a terrorist. So we take out Saddam Hussein. What the hell have we done? What the hell have we done? And we leave, and we don't even get anything. So now I say the other day, well, look, here's what we have. It's a chess game. But we have people that don't know how to play chess. And Lindsey Graham, you listen to this guy, he wants to attack everybody at one time. He doesn't. And he's not a smart man, believe me. And he's always sitting with John McCain. Did you ever see that? What are they, the Bobbsey twins? They're always together. And the last poll that came out, he has 0. I say, they interview thousands of people. How do you have 0? But he talks like he knows something. His plan is so bad. Okay. So we have to get rid of it. Let me agree ISIS first, one thing at a time. So ISIS is fighting Assad. Assad hates ISIS. They're fighting. We come along, we want Assad out, and we want ISIS out. Now, if we attack ISIS, and as we attack ISIS, Assad can't believe how lucky he got. But we want to attack him also. Now, you have Iran, who's now a new power because we made him a power overnight. But more importantly, you have Russia on the side of Assad. So we're going to attack Russia. I don't know. Somehow Syria and World War III don't go along great to me. But more importantly, I want ISIS. These people are cutting off our Christians' heads, our Christian brothers' heads. They are cutting off the heads of people. We haven't seen this since medieval times. We haven't seen it since medieval times. You're right about that with Saudi Arabia. But we have to attack one at a time. We got to knock out ISIS. We'll worry about that later. We got to knock out ISIS. And actually, a couple of people on the Democrat side have said something very similar to me. They took a little heat, but everybody that talks to them, you watch the debates, they win them so easily. Bottom line is this. We have a military. We don't have the right people leading our military. Our military people go on television. They talk. Our president said when we're leaving Iraq. You remember that? Not only did he say we're sending our soldiers, 50 men. You know the funny thing? He did it because he thought it would be good publicity. But when he said 50, it wasn't enough people. So he got criticized for sending so few. But he also said a few years ago when he's leaving Iraq, you remember? He gave an exact date. And I said, that must be camouflage. He must be kidding. Because nobody could say that. So the enemy pulled back. And they said, hey, wait a minute. You hear that they want to be killed. They don't want to be killed. Honestly, they're chicken shit. They don't want to be killed. It's all talk. They don't want to be killed. Just like this guy, they had an escape plan. They had a big escape plan, right? Because they didn't want to be killed. Didn't the police do a great job in California? They really did. And you know what else? They did a great job in France. Not easy. They did a great job in France. They did a great job. We have got to start honoring and respecting our police. We've got to do it. And, you're always going to have some bad apples. And the sad part is everything you see on television, it's always the negative stuff. And you're going to have bad stuff. It's such a tiny fraction of what really happens. And the one thing is the way they captured these two people, these two animals, the way they captured, and the way the mother is in the apartment. They've got all sorts of bombs, pipe bombs, all sorts of crap all over the apartment. The mother didn't know anything. I didn't see it. I mean, it's not like it's a Trump apartment, which is so big you can do it, right? This is a small apartment. And then you had somebody that also didn't want to do it because they thought it would be, what was the word they used, right? What? No. Why? They didn't want to do it because they knew there was something wrong. They saw people carrying very strange things like a gunpowder and pipes, and the pipes were only this long. You need a lot of pipes to do the bathroom when they're this long. And they saw it and they knew it, but they didn't want to profile the people. Who are these people? Who are people that can be so stupid to do that? Who? So they were Democrats. I was going to say there was something else, but I won't say because I'm just got myself in trouble. I wonder really what. I watched the sister of the guy last night on television, right? And I'm pretty good at this stuff. And I watched her. She had the veil, the whole thing, and she's talking about the brother. First of all, her brother was killed a few days ago. She's not at all. I mean, she's talking like. In fact, she said, "I think I have to go now. My time's up." And you never said, right? So matter of fact. I thought she was lying so much. I'm good at this. I thought she was a total liar. I watched her being interviewed last night, right? She lied about him. She didn't know. She didn't know he felt this way. She knew. And a lot of other people knew too. And we better be vigilant. I was watching some of these people that I'm running against, and all of a sudden they're talking about vigilance. I was using the word. They're talking about the same things that I said a week ago. Took heat for, but didn't change. I don't change. Whatever it is, it is. Now they're saying it. They're saying it. Just like the illegal immigration. I didn't change. Now they're all saying it. But we've got to be vigilant. We've got to be tough. We've got to be smart. And when people know what's going on, and when we know they know what's going on, and when wonderful, beautiful people die for nothing. For what? These are animals that walk into a room and shoot everybody. Those people that knew have to pay a big, big price. They have to pay a big price. And they will pay a big price. Because I'm watching this, and it's like, give me a break. I'm watching all these people about the racial profiling. I don't believe that for a second. These people knew what was going on, and there was more than the two of them, and there probably is a lot more out there than the two of them. And we better get really tough and really smart, and we better do it quickly. So just in concluding, I have to say this, look. We have a country that I love. A country that's much different than it was. We have a Sergeant Bergdahl who is a dirty, rotten traitor. 6 people were killed. 6 people going out trying to get them back. 6 young, great people. I watched the mothers and the fathers talking about it. They knew he was a traitor when they made the deal. And yet Obama and his geniuses made a deal. Sergeant Bergdahl, a dirty, rotten traitor for 5 guys that they've tried to get for the last 9 years out of Gitmo. But they've tried to get him for the last 9 years. And now they have him. And they're back on the battlefield trying to kill everybody. And if they get the chance, they'll be trying to kill you and all of us. We can't run things like this anymore. So the one thing that has taken place, and it's been really something that I've appreciated. Every time things get worse, I do better because people have confidence in me. I can only tell you this. No, I have confidence. I can only tell you this, and I said it. Trade, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. I used to spend a whole hour and a half talking about, don't worry, just do me a favor. I got the best. We will do so great. Obamacare terminated, we're going to fix it. It'll be fine. We're terminating Obamacare, we're replacing it with something that's going to be really good. It's going to be good. So many other things. Our military is strong, I told you. Our vets are going to be taken care of. They're going to be taken care of like they should. We have a plan in. But we are going to be strong, and we are going to be vigilant, and we're not going to be pushed around, and we may not be so political. You know, I went to an Ivy League school. Good student. I went to a great school. Always fun. I can be more politically correct than any guy in that stand back there, and I guarantee I'm a lot smarter than all of them. But what happens, let me just say, what happens, and it's a problem, it's such a long route. It's such a long, circuitous route. We got to move. We got to move fast. We see things wrong. So when I talked about the mosque, they said, "Oh, what?" I said, "Well, where is the problem? There's something bad happening, folks. There's something bad." And now other people are saying, "Okay, maybe that," but there's something bad happening. So we have to be careful. We have to be strong. We have to be smart. And I'll tell you this. I hope come caucus time you're going to be there and you're going to be voting because we can't take it. And I'm always saying, and I'll say it very strongly, if I win, I will get in. I will work so hard. I will put every ounce of my being into getting this country to a level that will be not only what it was, but greater than it's ever been before. We have tremendous potential. We have tremendous potential. So, we're going to make America great again, but we're going to make it greater than ever before. Good luck. Big day coming up. It's called February 1st. Big, big day. And I only promise we will do a fantastic job for you. And you are my bosses, not the special interests, not the lobbyists, not the donors. You are the boss. Thank you. Thank you very much.